Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Spirit Matters, your daily Bhakti-centered podcast where we talk about spiritual subject matters in a practical way, how to bring them into our everyday lived experiences, and how to share that knowledge with each other. I am here with Achyuta Gopi, Doyal Garanga, and a beautiful live studio audience from all over the United States, all over the world. Thank you all for being here so much. How are you both doing today, Achyuta and Doyal?
Episode 100.
Episode 100. It's episode 100.
That's how I feel. Episode 100. Wow.
We did it. We made it. Episode 100. Thank you all for being part of this journey. We're glad to have been here with you. We hope to see you next time. This is our end. This is our last episode. Conclusion. We're calling it quits. Going out on a high note.
It is something to say, to do 100. I mean, honestly, I would not have remembered if one of the viewers wouldn't have told us yesterday that it was our episode 100. I think it was Kimberly that mentioned to us yesterday, but it's quite awesome that we've gotten here. And yeah, I also wanted to thank everyone for tuning in, both live studio audience and everyone out there listening. It's really, really awesome. And I think it's a really great place to be in terms of our shift into really getting into the Gita. We've been speaking about the introduction of the Gita this week. I don't think we're going to read through the whole introduction because it's quite lengthy, but just taking some points from there. And yesterday, Martha's reminding us we were talking about the 5 basic truths of the Gita, and we kind of left off on this point of just like really going back to that first paragraph in the introduction that Srila Prabhupada was saying of really being able to touch the heart of the Bhagavad Gita, really being able to come close to Bhagavad Gita. And I think it's really interesting, actually. I'll open with this, because I think that sometimes when we see a person, or when we see, or even when we're looking at ourselves, we might sometimes think like, they're not qualified, or I'm not qualified, or what am I going to get out of this, or what's the point, or like, why am I going to go to that kirtan? That doesn't make sense for me, like I have nothing to do with any of that stuff. And there's a sometimes preconceived box of what it looks like to be spiritual, which is a topic that we've talked about at length in this podcast, of the image of what it looks like to be spiritual. And it's really beautiful because Srila Prabhupada in this introduction has really helped us understand, kind of just getting a little bit deeper at understanding that it's really something internal. It's something internal in the heart, that surrender, that letting go of control, that understanding these 5 basic truths, understanding my position to Krishna, to God. And then I can start to get a little closer to the heart of the Gita and to the heart of bhakti like this. And I thought that was really interesting, for sure. Yesterday, I'm just gonna mention this. Yesterday, Mayor Bill de Blasio, former Mayor Bill de Blasio, came to Kirtan at the Bhakti.
I call him Bill, my boy Bill. That's what we got to.
They established that. I was there. I saw it.
I was introducing him. I was like, Bill. I was like, can I call you Bill? He was like, call me my boy Bill. I was like, you got it.
And I'll
Yes, Pasha. Yes, I did that. Pasha. I did that. Yes, I did. There's a video of it. I didn't have you there to guide or direct me. I'm sorry.
But it was really interesting because I was just I mean, I had to not be at Kirtan for a variety of reasons last night, mainly because we're traveling today and I had to pack, and I just had, but it was interesting for me because I was kind of like observing myself through this process, because I am someone that doesn't really like politicians, and in my mind I could like see the judgments and the criticisms, just like, why it's like this, like my mind was just like, why is why is he coming to kirtan? What, it was just doing this and this and this. And then finally I got to a place where I was just like, wait a minute, like this is for his ultimate benefit, like hearing these holy names are for his ultimate benefit. And if those names of Krishna can somehow touch his heart and give him some experience of Krishna, of bhakti, of the devotees, that is positive and loving and full of empathy and acceptance. I was listening to a speech that he gave, and he was talking about how welcoming the bhakti center was, and I was like, then that's great, regardless of what missteps he may have made in his mayoral time. It's like that's fine and that's great. And it's almost like Srila Prabhupada in this, sorry, I've been rambling a little bit, but Srila Prabhupada in this introduction is also like, yeah, it's like, and Srila Prabhupada's character as well, if you see him, it's like, it doesn't matter where you came from. It's like, if you're willing to be sincere, if you're willing to open your heart and accept, be accepting, then these truths can really sink in. And it doesn't matter what it looks like on the outside, if what I'm saying makes a little sense.
Actually, what you're saying makes total sense, because I am also a little bit that way. But instead of, I kind of was looking around yesterday objectively in a different way. I kept looking around thinking, wow, all these people are like clapping and cheering and stuff. Like they were really like given a really nice rousing round of applause. And I was like, y'all people don't actually care. You don't actually care. None of you actually care. But then, like I said this morning, it's not for my benefit or anybody else's benefit. It's literally for his own benefit. And I feel like that's the way we should think about our spiritual lives. My brother used to tell me, if you are as excited for kirtan on the off seasons as you are for the festival seasons, then you've got something. Then you've got the beginnings of some taste. And so I feel like it's important for us to check our own gauges. Does it matter who comes or doesn't come? Like, am I engaging myself? Am I throwing myself into this process, whether there's a former mayor there or whether there's nobody there but 1, 2, 3 people in the 4 walls? Am I showing up to kirtan with that same respect? Am I showing up to kirtan with that same pristine attitude? Because Krishna is always there. And so I thought it was kind of interesting to kind of like look around and think and to observe how we are in the presence of somebody we think of as great versus all the things that hold us back that we have to do for Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada often uses this example. He's like, if you got a meeting with the president, no, you'd be proud about that. And I was just reading a quote. He's like, if you got a meeting with the president, you'd be so proud about that. Why should you not feel proud? It's a big meeting. Every day we have a meeting with Krishna. Like, so we should feel proud about that. We should feel proud that we've taken up this Krishna consciousness. So I was kind of like looking at it like, huh, like there are certain amounts of respect that we readily give to these high-ranking people. And honestly, that same respect should be there when we go to meet Krishna. And sometimes I can take it so lightly and easily. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna go. I'll show up, waltz in, waltz out, whatever. But when there's somebody there, then everybody's like, oh, and the focus comes in. There's like a focus in the room. And I feel like we owe it to Krishna to give that same attention.
It's a really beautiful way of putting it. And my thinking when he walked into the Bhakti Center on the first floor last evening, and I welcomed him and greeted him and saw him there, and he was asking like if he could just hang out and spend time with people, etc. And I just said, "Your spiritual home." That's our tagline. That's who we are. That's what we do. And it reminded me. This was years ago. I was listening to there's a pastor from in Atlanta that I tune into often, or at least used to a lot. Take a lot of inspiration from in his speaking and his presentation. And he mentioned how once he was invited for like a prayer vigil, or to be part of a prayer of a particular politician's either inauguration or something, you know, and he was wondering if he should participate or not because it's political. And he said that, you know, whenever you do anything political or make a statement about anybody, it becomes divisive. You know, you're supporting one person or you're not supporting this. Some people are going to love it, some people are going to hate it, etc. And so he wasn't sure if he should go. And so he asked one of his mentors, or somebody of him that he takes advice from, and they said it like in a southern accent. They're like, "Son, you're a preacher. Someone's asking them to pray for you. That's what you do." You know. And it was just kind of like, that's what we do. We welcome people, you know, and that was Kishore mentioned. He mentioned how welcomed he was in that, you know, he spoke really beautifully in terms of what he said, that acts of kindness and levels of respect are hard to come by, and the importance of that. You know, when we look around the room at the Bhakti Center, he noticed that just the sheer variety of people um, that were there, and that welcoming effect, that welcoming has a ripple effect out into the world in ways that we don't always know or are aware of. So he was encouraging that to a great deal. And I thought that, you know, that's who we are. There was a person, you know, Martha said something so beautiful. He said, "Don't see a politician, see the man who decided for whatever reason to visit that sacred place." And you could insert, don't see the politician, don't see the lawyer, don't see the doctor, don't see the man, don't see the woman, don't see the, you know, American, don't see the Indian, don't see the Russian or the French or the Mexican or the whatever. Don't see any of that. Just see the spirit soul that is making their way towards, you know, connection. And I was also, because I was talking with one of his one of Bill's, I guess that's what we're referring to him now. um Mr. De Blasio just sounded so formal, and former mayor sounded so I don't know, former mayor, I don't know. And so anyways, one of the people that came with him, a longtime friend, he came with a couple people, was this man Jeffrey. And he was so excited and so enthused and just like loved the experience. And he comes from a Catholic background, so he says like, I'm not like converting to another faith, but he just was having this beautiful connection in the temple. And he just got it. Like he got everything. He asked that question. He was like, now, what about those like statues that were up there at the front? Like, what is that? And we were having this like conversation about the deities and Radha Muladhar, and it led to all of these kind of like side points and conversations. But like, he like when we were talking about it, and like he fully got it. He was like, yeah, it's like human beings need like a tool to like focus their mind, to like put their attention somewhere and like direct their love. And I was like, that's exactly it. Like you nailed it. And so, and but in this conversation, like I started by talking about the definition of the word yoga, which means to connect, where we get the word yuj or union from, which is the same definition literally actually of the word religion, which is to relink, to reconnect. And so, you know, and I quoted Srila Prabhupada in our conversation that, you know, at various times people would ask him why he came to the West or what his mission was. And he said, you know, if you're a Christian, I want you to be a better Christian. If you're a Jew, I want you to be a better Jew. If you're a Muslim, I want you to become a better Muslim. Like, that's a success if we see that. And so, for the Bhakti Center, or for just Krishna Conscious in general, to be a space where we're simply recognizing every person's journey. One time, everybody asked the question to Srila Prabhupada, do you think everyone are equal? And he said, I think everyone deserves the chance to become Krishna conscious. You know, I think everyone deserves a chance to become Krishna conscious. I mean, to have that connection with God, and to be honored and recognized as a spirit soul and their journey as such. So when we see any person, whoever it is, recognizing that Krishna's in this person's heart, directing their journey in some way, and my job is to, in whatever capacity I'm able, to honor that and to, you know, if they're taking a step, like my job is to make that step as easy as possible and to support them in some way, shape, or form. And so, yeah, so my mood was welcoming somebody that wanted to come visit a temple and appreciate the community that we have here. Um, and so, you know, that's what he did.
And to that end, last night was so interesting
Because we serve
because
pasta.
right, like after all of that, the pasta. No, I I was kind of looking around all night, and even though you had Bill speak, he was not the only one that was like welcomed that night.
Mm,
There was a group of people who had kind of just come that I had never really seen before on a Thursday. And the next thing I know, they were up in front kind of dancing.
mm,
But it's because people got them, held them by the hand, said, come join in, dance. There is a table with welcome packages for a group of people on a Thursday night. And what I really am loving so much about the Bhakti Center and about looking at these Thursday night kirtans is that you don't just welcome a politician and leave all the rest of the people like they don't matter. You found a way to give everybody some sort of special kind of welcome, and that is not only rare, but it is so incredibly important. Nobody felt less than yesterday, and that's a very difficult thing to do in a managerial setting. So hats off, Dial. Good job.
Good job, Diane. Good job. And I think
Go dad is Pasha's comment. Thank you. Pasha, you just gotta know. I'm gonna read the comments. I'm gonna read them from you. They're so good. It's how much I love you.
Krishna. I was gonna say that, and I think since we're talking about Bhagavad Gita and we've spoken about it this week, the introduction, and the next week getting into it. Something that I really, really love about Bhagavad Gita and appreciate so much about it is that it really levels the playing field.
Yeah.
And it really, really kind of breaks down hierarchical thinking and behavior. And just like right from the get-go, in the second chapter, which we'll get into later, like Krishna's just like explaining how it works, you know, like we went through those 5 basic truths, right? How God works, how the material world works, how the conditioned soul works, like how it just all works and fits together. And so much of the Bhagavad Gita, this theme of equal vision, of seeing everything and everyone as equal, is such a big point. And at the same time, you know, it seems like a contradiction, but it's not, because it's like we see everyone and everything with equal vision, and at the same time we can each have our own unique relationship with God. And that's something that's like really, really special and beautiful, because I can understand that in a room of people coming from all different walks of life, that their experiences are all different, that they're all different people, and at the same time they are all equal in the eyes of God, and at the same time they all have a very specific unique relationship and can have that very specific unique relationship. So it seems like, whoa, there's a lot of stuff going on here, but it's actually all possible and beautiful and amazing. And I think that that's what's so rich about Bhakti and Bhagavad Gita. It really gets into the nuances about all this stuff, and it's really, really it's really beautiful. Actually, it's really, really beautiful. It's such a beautiful way of thinking about spirituality, about God, and about our relationship with Him, because it's like a mother, you know, it's like a mother with their kids. She loves them all equally, and at the same time, maybe she'll love them all in different ways, you know. And in regards to favoritism, I think I don't know if I even like that word, to be honest, because like, just like as I grow older with my parents, it's like, I know my mom and I have a special relationship, you know, mothers and their gay sons. That's like a thing, apparently. I have a special relationship with my mom, but I also know that like she loves my brothers. Like she loves them very deeply and very uniquely in their own way, you know, and she loves me very deeply and very uniquely in my own way. And it's like, okay, like I can understand that there's a lot of nuance. And I think that that's what getting into these spiritual texts is really important, because when we approach spirituality from a superficial place, I think we were talking about this. No, we weren't talking about this in the podcast. I was giving a Bhagavatam class and I was speaking about superficiality. And I remember a really nice point about superficiality. If I am approaching things on a superficial level, if I am only on the surface, then that is how I'm going to receive things. And if I'm actually making the effort to go deep and to get deep understanding of things, of people, of philosophies, then that is also, right? I'm going to beget that. I'm going to receive that. So I'm super excited that we're diving deep together, because hopefully we can open the floodgates to receive depth of understanding. And we are running fresh out of time. So we have 3 minutes for takeaways from Kimberly, from Doyal, and from Achyuta. So please, Doyal and Achyuta, think of your takeaways. And if anyone else has any takeaways please write them into the chat. Kimberly, please enlighten us with your takeaways.
Thank you. So today we're taking away to be sincere, accepting, and welcoming towards everyone, because everyone deserves a chance to become Krishna conscious and to be recognized as a spirit soul.
It's that simple.
It's that simple. Beautiful. Doyal, what about you?
I am, for me, I'm going back to just remembering what we're here to do. Which is to love and make compassion. I mean, one of the things we also shared, well, yesterday I was speaking with one of our other team members here, and we're building this campaign coming up for the Bhakti Center that we're thinking to name Love Means Service. And we shared that with Bill also, this idea of like what Bhakti means is love and love means service. And so the idea of that, separate from all the ways that distinguish us or can separate us, the idea is that we're here to serve others, and service knows no discrimination or bar from that. And so, so just kind of remembering myself in that servant mindset, that public service, that service to others, of anybody who comes seeking it from any place. And so, yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Doyal. Chuta, how about you? I'm dying at the chat exploding right now, by the way. It's hilarious.
I know, there's so much going on.
There's a lot going on.
But I think my takeaway is looking at the effects of such a place that really does try to enter into the spirit of this like pandita samadarshana, this seeing with equal vision, which means that okay, like there will be natural distinctions, of course, always. We don't give up our discrimination or our powers of discrimination, but we do, like you said, Doyle, we see and try to imbibe Srila Prabhupada's mood that everybody deserves a chance to become Krishna conscious. And when you really enter a space where it happens like that, and you see that occurring, it creates within you a desire to want to help this project and serve. And that's what I felt yesterday. I felt all these desires and creative ideas on, how could I jump in? Like I was just kind of looking around, and they've got all of these new like kind of like, lady bhaktas. And all I wanted was to just host a workshop over a weekend of just like, okay, how are we dressing? How are we feeling? What's going to make us excited about bhakti? Because it's as simple as, oh my God, this person has on a sari and all this, and nobody ever shows anybody anything. It's like Bhakti 101 for like women. And what are you feeling? How are we actually feeling? Let's talk about it. But that all happens because there is such a conducive atmosphere and an environment for encouraging other people in so many of their forms of bhakti, and it makes you want to serve. So
Mm.
We are doing this workshop, Achyuta. Bhakti.
I am. I think I really want to.
We're doing it. That was a pitch, actually, and it's been accepted.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, thank you so much for your takeaways, Doyal and Achyuta. In the chat, I think this was a great 100th celebration, 100th episode celebration for sure. Thank you, Martha. It seems like an all expenses paid trip on the Bhakti Center credit card is happening for all the live listeners, according to Pasha. It seems like Pasha's the ringleader of this endeavor. And Pasha's saying that she's going to move to New York because she loves this Sangha so much. So yeah, we're waiting, Pasha and Lane. We are waiting. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you for being with us for 100 episodes. We are looking forward to starting Bhagavad Gita next week. We might have a little shift in the time because Doyal and I will be in Italia, Sicilia. But we will let you all know on the Rise platform the time shift. Thank you all so much. We love you very much and see you next week. Bye-bye.
Oh, goodness. Bye-bye.